guys, Dr. Will here from Miami Spine and Performance. Today, as you can see, we have a little bit of a change of scenery. We are at Gracie Baja Aventura, which is my home jiu-jitsu school. This is where I do my training. I also do some workshops here for the athletes. And what we're going to talk today specifically about is some of the most common reasons that people suffer from jiu-jitsu injuries and a couple of ways that you can help prevent these injuries by improving your own range of motion. So the first motion that we're going to talk about is hip external rotation. Hip external rotation being rotating the hip this way. So for those of you that do jiu-jitsu, you know that anytime you're putting someone into a front triangle, rear triangle, body lock, or if you're in guard retention, external rotation is extremely important. The way that I see people get injured is I see that if they lack hip external rotation and they go to put on a triangle, it puts a lot of stress on either the knee, the ankle, or the foot. Those of you that maybe lack flexibility know that you've tried to put a triangle on a big person and you almost feel like you need to tap yourself because you're putting so much pressure on your own foot. So I'm going to show you guys how you can warm up external rotation before training, but also how you can train it outside of the gym so that it can carry over to your jiu-jitsu game. So I'm here with a fellow training partner, Jacob. He's going to help demonstrate some of these exercises for you guys. So the first one that we're going to set up here is just going to be a pigeon stretch against the wall. So as you can see, Jacob has his leg into external rotation like this. And what I'm going to have Jacob do is put one hand down by the ankle, one hand on the knee. And he's just going to apply a little bit of pressure through the knee just till he feels a stretch kind of on the side or the back of his butt, okay? And I'll usually have people hold this position for anywhere from 45 to 90 seconds. Now the other thing Jacob can do is he can kind of pressure off and then pressure back on a couple of times throughout the stretch. And of course, I'm making sure that he's breathing through his abdomen during this whole thing. Now you can notice while Jacob's stretching, he's really minimizing any motion anywhere else, right? So he's keeping all the variables very controlled and he's just stretching his hip into external rotation, okay? Can you go ahead and switch sides for me, Jacob? So same thing here, and if you guys do bilaterally, which you should, you'll probably notice that one hip is a little bit tighter than the others. In my experience in clinical practice, usually everybody has a hip that likes external rotation a little bit better and a hip that likes internal rotation a little bit better. And that kind of has to do with the orientation of the pelvis and things like that. Okay, so here's Jacob doing the 90-90 stretch for hip external rotation. So while stretching is great and a really valuable part of training, we also want to make sure that Jacob can control his active range of motion. So now I'm going to have Jacob do something called a passive range hold. So if you'd like, you can scoot back a little bit, Jacob, and put this foot on the ground. Okay. So what Jacob's going to do is he's going to pull his leg into external rotation with his hands. Go ahead. Until he's about at end range. You can see here now he's starting to put a little bit of stress on the ankle. So we'll have him go right there, and then he's going to let go and hold with his musculature as much as he can. Now it looks easy on camera, it looks like not much is going on, but Jacob will tell you he's working really hard to maintain this position, right? Go ahead and relax for me. So now I'll help Jacob through it as well. So I'm just finding that kind of passive barrier. So this is where I start to feel that he hits end range external rotation. Now I'm going to slowly let go, and Jacob, I want you to activate your hip muscles and hold. Hold, hold, hold. Good. You might not notice through the camera, but his leg's shaking a little bit, which means he's really working hard here, okay? And relax, good. So that's called a passive range hold, okay? So we're taking that new range of motion that we built, that new passive range, and we're applying an active force to it. So we're actually using the muscles to hold that. It's really, really important that we don't just have flexibility for the sake of flexibility, but we have flexibility that we can actually control when we're on the mat. That's how we prevent injuries. So after we've done a passive stretch and an active stretch, I'm then going to have Jacob go through an actual motion. So go ahead and bring this leg up to 90, Jacob. You can straighten your other leg if you'd like. Scoot back a little bit. So Jacob's going to go through capsule cars right now. So I'm going to have Jacob start in neutral, and he's just going to slowly externally rotate and then bring his hip back the other direction into a little internal rotation. Now externally rotate as far as you can, and a little bit of internal rotation. And externally rotate, and internally rotate. And relax. Good. So that's a motion that a lot of times we don't train hip rotation as part of our strength training or as part of our conditioning, right? We're all focused on squatting and lunging and step ups, which is all great, but at the end of the day, we want to be able to have good hip rotation. We have to train hip rotation. So to me, capsule cars is a great place to start training hip external rotation. So just to review, guys, we started with a 90-90 pigeon stretch against the wall. We then moved on to a passive range hold, where we positioned our leg into a 90-degree angle and we held actively with our muscles, and then we finally transitioned into a capsule car where we're rotating our hip in and out. So give those a try, guys. Let me know what you think, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.